Hey, my name is Jaquan Douglas, the Youth Director and Facilitator for Let's Start Baltimore, which was previously No One Left Unhelped. And thank you, Brandon Scott, for joining today's meet and greet and taking the time out your busy schedule to meet with us today. We don't want to bombard you with too many questions, but we just have a few.
Bring them on. You can ask as many questions as we can possibly get in. So
I bet.
Hello, my name is Courtney McMurray. I am a youth ambassador for Let's Drop Baltimore, and I have a two-part question for you today. One is, what motivates you to become the mayor? And the second one is, what do you have in store for the youth in Baltimore City when you become mayor?
well, thank you, Courtney, for that question. My inspiration to run for office in the first place, and to then keep ascending and running now to uh, hopefully be the mayor of Baltimore, all things going well in November's election, is really about my upbringing and wanting the city to be a better place for young people like me that grew up here in Baltimore, right? I saw my first shooting before I was 10 in Park Heights, and went to schools with no heat and air, went to outdated rec centers, and had to deal with all the things that we all know that you have to deal with. And you have to make a decision on whether you're going to just accept that or you're going to do something to change it. And who better to change what has been going on in the city for longer than I've been alive, and longer than you guys have been alive, than someone who actually had to grow up and struggle through that. And in the future, really what it's about is trying to build the building blocks for you guys to have a better life. One day, one of you will come and sit in a chair that I'm going to be occupying in, and be able to be the best city council member, the best city council president, the best mayor the city has ever had, because someone like me charged the door and struggled and did things that you won't have to do, right? Someone has to be the person who is building the foundation, putting the bricks at the bottom of a house or a building is just as important as the person that puts the nice fancy thing at the top or gets to cut the ribbon, because someone has to do that. And that's really the foundation of what I want to leave for you guys. But it's also about more investment in your promise and not just your failure. Thinking about how we can do more investment in our schools, which we know we will be doing through the Curving Commission, how we can build up recreation and parks, and help them be an agency that can thrive, our health department, in providing the opportunity for young people in Baltimore, whether they choose to go to college like I did, or whether they just go to high school, to be able to have a career, a meaningful career that they can support their families. That's what I want to focus on. And I love your hooping picture too, by the way.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Chastity Soto, and I'm a youth ambassador for Let's Start Baltimore. I also have a two-part question. The first one is, would you be willing to support our resource fair by referring resources that we can provide for the homeless? And the second one is, would you be interested in working with Let's Start Baltimore, formerly known as No One Left Unhelped, now and when you become mayor?
Yeah, I mean, I had the pleasure of working with you guys before. I look forward to doing that in the future. I know that Dominic from my staff is on the Zoom, so we absolutely can refer resources for you guys, resource fair, and be able to help in any way that we can. Like that I always say to folks, whenever I can help, I will. When I can, I'll say yes. When I can, I'll say no. But you'll always have the opportunity to work with me. And I assume are you debating between Coppin and Bowie State? Is that's why you have those behind you, Chastity?
No, I actually got this at a college fair.
All right.
Keeping my options open.
That's right. All right. All right.
Cool. All right. Youth facilitator here. Jaquan Douglas, youth director and youth facilitator. Would you like to be a part of our resource fair where we donate to homeless? And could you? Oh, I read the wrong thing. My bad. Sorry. I get a little nervous.
Are you fine, brother?
Okay, take your time. Take a deep breath. I know he make y'all nervous. That's where he be the next mayor, right? So y'all get a little nervous. You doing good. Just take your time. Take a deep breath. Breathe.
Man, I'm good. So just relax.
Look, they get nervous when they get around. We can come back to you, Jaquan, if you like.
Yeah.
All right.
That's one.
uh, Isaiah.
Hi, my name is Isaiah, and I'm a youth ambassador for Leicester, Baltimore. And the question I have for you today is, would you be in agreement to making it mandatory for Baltimore City Police to see a mental health therapist?
So I think that that's actually a great thing, Isaiah. So there's a couple of things that I think that we have to consider there, right? One, consider that they actually recently, or I guess I helped them get that now it's a year and a half, 2 years ago. They actually now have a division of health and wellness in the police department where they go and work with other police officers, which was something that if you would have asked me when I was your age, or even 5 or 6 years ago when I was on the city council, would that happen? The answer would be, I'd be like, no, they would never do that, right? And actually, someone that I know it works there, and it helps out a lot. She really loves enjoying working and talking with the other officers. But when you talk about that kind of policy, I think that that is something that we should definitely look at. And when we're talking about right now, as you know, as you may or may not know, the city police department is actually an agency of the state, and to change that kind of policy, even to make it an actual law, will require state legislation. We have to see if that would be something that's protected by the Law Enforcement Officers Bill of Rights, that we may be able to change as well. But I think that we absolutely should consider looking at mental health for all of our public servants, and making sure that people see people when they need to. But we also have to be very mindful of laws around health and wellness, that we can't overstep people's personal boundaries and things like that. So the answer is yes, but I have to do my due diligence and be responsible, and be able to show you guys and tell you guys what can actually is possible. So that's a follow up for my Dominic and my legislative team, for us to see what we could actually do.
Hello, my name is DeMontes. I'm a youth ambassador for Leicester, Baltimore. And my question for you today is, would you work with our youth and our organization lead a stormwater management workshop, especially while there's a lot of flooding and storming in Baltimore City?
Yeah, and actually, I'm glad you said that, Demontes, because I was on a Zoom just before this one, with some folks who really want to help young people in Baltimore really connect with understanding stormwater management, nature and environment, right? So not just making sure that people are cleaning their stormwater drains and all these other things, but then also actually understanding the actual projects. That we spend billions of dollars on helping to create and improve our stormwater infrastructure in the city, and literally all of those can literally be like a science project for people, young people in particular, in communities, to understand like what that actually does to help your city be more sustainable, your world to be here for a longer period, right? There are places like, for example, something, this is crazy. When I was a kid, you would see no fish in the harbor. Zilch. Like, never did you see that. I just happened to be filming something for the Democratic National Convention last Sunday down at the harbor. And not only did I see fish, but I saw crabs, like live crabs in the harbor. And it was like fascinating to me, because it shows how over the years, even though we know we still have a long way to go, the water's become more healthy. But what we now have to also do is empower our communities to understanding why that stuff that you're talking about is important from top to bottom. So they have things like out at Masonville Cove, where they have a preserve that's in Baltimore City, where people can go and learn about what these projects mean. So absolutely, but I actually want to take that and expand it a little bit so that you guys can learn about these things, because that's also a growing industry of jobs, right? People who do that kind of stuff, and they make a lot of money. They make more money than me, right? When they're out there helping to build infrastructure, green infrastructure, all of that kind of stuff is very important. And it's a way for you guys to be able to think about careers that people don't traditionally think about as well. And also, their shape up is fresh, my brother.
My name
Say
is.
thank you, DeMontes.
I did say thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Thank you.
My name is Tamil. I'm a youth ambassador for Let's Start Baltimore. And my question for you is, do you believe that a lot of Baltimore City police officers are traumatized?
I'm sorry, I mean the last part, if, chime, somebody to chime, so I missed.
Yeah.
All right. My question was, do you believe that a lot of Baltimore City police officers are traumatized?
Yeah, I mean, we know they are, right? Just like all of us living in Baltimore. Let me be the first to say that what we experience is not normal, right? And they experience it every day, all day, right? And we experience it every day, all day. None of us are. It's not normal. I had to. It took for me to leave Baltimore to go to college at St. Mary's for me to first understand that what I experienced growing up wasn't normal and that it wasn't okay, right? But also that it was okay to actually talk to somebody, right? And we know, especially in the black community, and especially with black men, we often hear folks say like, oh, when someone say, oh, I'm gonna go talk to a therapist, I'm gonna go see somebody and talk about my problems, they be like, oh man, that makes you weak. No, it actually makes you strong. It's weak. Weak is is taking that, keeping it inside, putting it out on your family, putting it out on your friends, right? And it's the same thing for them, right? You have to be willing to talk to someone because we know it's trauma. Anyone that comes up, for example, I know, there were police officers that responded to that accident downtown with the light rail yesterday. Seeing somebody pinned and killed in a car like that is traumatized. I know that, when we had the explosion last week, I had trauma from that because seeing people taken out of a block that just blew up, right? Seeing people dead, shot in the head, that's not normal. Absolutely. And that's why, to go back to the question earlier, that's why we also have to take more steps to figuring out how we can get people the mental health that they need.
My name is wait.
You good?
Ronald.
My name Ronald, and drop a one in the chat if you agree that police officers are traumatized, and drop a two in the chat if you disagree that police officers are traumatized.
Yeah. This is a poll for everybody. All right. Kari.
And once.
Hi, my name is Kari, and I'm a youth ambassador for Let's Start Baltimore. And my question today is, do you think officers should get their pay cut if they turn their body cam off?
Well, I think that the answer is we know that there's penalties for doing that, right? And those penalties are in the policy, and people get suspended and all of those kind of things if you do that. If you do those things in a way that is, you're trying to hide something. And I had the pleasure of being on Baltimore's body camera task force now 5 years ago when we created the program, and we put those things in place to allow. And I think for you guys, it's also important that you guys look up and understand the Maryland's Law Enforcement Officers Bill of Rights, but also that there is a commission group by State Senator Will Smith right now, and one in the House from Speaker Adrian Jones, about the reforms that need to happen to that, right? Because many people will say, like, if an officer does that, then they should lose this amount of pay or that amount of pay. Well, those kind of things are, one, written into agreements, but also even we've seen, for example, our police commissioner here in Baltimore and other police leaders around the state want to change parts of that law to allow them to fire people more easily. Because right now, even if some officers are charged with things, or they did things, they just can't be immediately fired, right? They have to go through this long process. And I think when you're talking about accountability and rebuilding trust, you have to be able to get rid of people that are doing bad things and not have to go through this outdated, long, exacerbated process. But you guys should really look that up. I know that Dominic and Kaylin are both on here from my staff, but the reforming to reimagine policing and holding people more accountable, that's where the bulk of it is going to be. It's going to be in Annapolis, changing that law to allow not just the city, but the state of Maryland to operate in a different way.
Hello, my name is Logan. I'm a youth ambassador of Let's Drive Baltimore, and I was saying, put a 1 in the chat if you agree that officers should have their pay cut and their body cameras off, and put a 2 if you disagree. And put a 1 in the chat if you agree that they should have their pay cut.
I believe everybody put in. Okay, so we got a lot of ones. And with your other survey y'all had a lot of ones that agree, and y'all had one person that was between a 1 and a 2.
Okay. You've directed that question. Mayor, would you consider helping Let's Start Baltimore to purchase something at a low price, or have the city donate some of the vacant lots that are not cared for Let's Start Baltimore, so we can create green spaces, memory gardens, and provide food for those in need, and teach children and families how to grow food?
I think that came back in over top of your fund now, but I think I want to make sure I heard everything, right?
Yeah, you was on there, but you just was blinking out.
All right.
He's about to freak out. Oh my God. No, we heard you, but you just got to say it again because you was kind of low. That's all. Because somebody was clicking.
All right. Okay, so when you become mayor, would you consider helping Let's Start Baltimore either purchase some of the lots at a low price, or have the city donate some of the vacant lots that are not cared for Let's Start Baltimore, so we can create green spaces, memory gardens, and provide food for those in need, and teach children and families how to grow food?
Yeah, thank you for that. And actually, we have programs that we can help with you guys on, like Adopt a Lot. So absolutely, we can figure out ways to help you. As I said earlier, anytime we can be helpful to folks who really are trying to help and do work in the community, especially healing work, I think is something that I'm always going to be on board with.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Yeah, anybody else, or can I ask some questions?
That's right, Brandon. Get him, Brandon. That's right.
Hello.
Oh, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jayla Purvis. I'm with Sisters Saving the City and Excellence and Ambition. Our question is, how do we arrange a meeting with you to discuss our youth village of Park Heights and the Youth Bill of Rights?
Very easily. It's a young man on here. He can put his email in the chat that works for me. That can set that up. Dominic and or Kaylin, and they already know anything that has Park Heights in it is all automatically going to be a priority.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Right up the street from the house that I grew up in. So I absolutely, and I love Sister Saving the Cities. My little cousins were part of the program and everything. So I really, really appreciate this program.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Questions for Brandon?
Now you can go ahead, Brandon.
Hold on. I'm gonna put this thing on the radio. So I have a couple questions for you guys. One, I really want to see what you guys think, because we're getting to that time of the year too. How you guys feel about the digital learning, and how you think you're dealing with that, and or like not being able to be in school.
Ooh.
Anybody can take it.
I think that we should I like the virtual, actually. I just think that they should be more strict on a virtual, like
What do you think about that, Courtney?
like we could, when we were in school and it was virtual, when we got out of school due to Corona, it was like we was getting up when we wanted to, and it wasn't like we actually was going to school. We was just doing the work. But like the teachers, they weren't always, I don't feel like they was always there to help. But like they just was giving out any type of work, just giving us to do. And some of the teachers was giving out work that didn't have nothing to do with the subject. So it was like stuff like that.
Okay. Chastity, so you were saying something?
Yeah, to piggyback off of what Courtney said, I feel as though with the strictness, I feel as though there should be something when kids aren't listening, because it's easy to unmute yourself and it's easy to write on whatever the teacher is doing. Also, I feel as though I had an easy time with it due to the fact that I'm very antisocial. So I liked the fact that I got my work and I was able to stay at home and all of that.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, but I feel as though it's a little harder for other people who are like visual learners. Like they need to see the work. Yeah, I am as well. So it was a little difficult. I had to ask a lot of questions, and sometimes teachers weren't getting back to me on time. The work was already due, and I didn't have enough time to do it. So I think that's important as well.
Absolutely. Anybody else?
I know that some of the youth that I was directing this summer, a lot of them had this feeling that they were going to fail because they're not so like computer savvy or anything. So yeah.
And then I just also just as a follow up to that, like for me, right? Chastity. I'm the opposite. I'm an extreme extrovert. The hard part for me, right, is like literally I've been having to help like run the city, sitting right here where I'm sitting at, right? And I would love to be out and amongst people and all of those things. But it's also about those relationships, your friends, your family, all of that kind of stuff. And like how do you guys feel like from a social standpoint that it's impacted you guys?
Um, I honestly feel like the virtual school. That's what we discussing. The virtual school. I mean, I can't focus because I got all these electronics around me, and I don't have no teacher telling me like, look, like I don't need a teacher telling me to focus, but when the teacher is around, it's like I can focus more. And I'm a virtual, no, I'm a visualizer learner. Like I can see stuff and be like I can catch on like that. It's not on my phone because I get distracted a lot when I'm on my phone written, so it's very hard. And then the work they stack on top. They give us like work on top of work at a time, and we having us stay up like 3 o'clock in the morning. I be up 3 o'clock in the morning just doing homework, trying to get it done because I'm stressing.
And so I got like two more questions for y'all. I won't keep y'all all day, all day. So just as a follow up, right? Putting you in my seat, right? Like you're about to be the mayor, right? And you know that COVID is coming, is here, and not going to be gone, and it's going to have a severe impact on like the city's budget. But thinking about like out in the future, and I'm gonna zero in on this particular topic. So as I talked about earlier, wrecking parks means a lot to me, right? So if you guys were me, and I want your honest opinion, right? Because I know what I think as someone who not that long ago, well, I still use rec centers, but use them as frequently as young people do in the city. What would you do? Would you, if you were spending the city's capital dollars, right? Would you try to build, you know, make our rec centers larger with more stuff, right? And like say have, 30 to 40 larger ones that everybody can use to have multiple gyms, multiple rooms, all of that kind of stuff that I like to do, or do what they've always done, and that's like try to have like 60, 70 small ones, some of them that don't have a gym. Like how would you guys do that, right? Would you like to have more of the larger facilities or more of the smaller ones?
Put a 1 in the chat for the larger facilities. Put a 2 in the chat for the smaller facilities.
Okay.
That's how you settle that.
So what the chat say? What y'all got? How many large, how many smalls?
Oh,
and if anybody want to answer verbally, you guys can.
Yeah, I was just about to answer. I feel as though larger
And
because we want to really get everybody. We want to really make sure everyone's okay. I mean, of course, smaller ones, we already have smaller ones, and those aren't enough. We want to get everyone off the streets. We want all the youth to be okay and protected, even some adults who can help the youth because we need leaders as well. We don't need just a safe space. We need people who we can look up to in those safe spaces. So I feel as though larger is definitely better.
Okay. Oh, somebody, Taylor, you had a 2. Let's see. I want to get the opposite side opinion.
I think we should have larger facilities because yes, the small ones are nice and all, but you could get more youth in one place, and the larger facilities could have, the larger
I think you
facilities
put the
could have
wrong number,
more.
Jayla.
Oh,
You
2
put
is
the
for the
long,
small
wrong number.
one?
Yeah, the 2 was for the small.
Okay.
Oh.
Large. So everybody actually said larger.
Yeah. The last question that I'll leave you guys with before I go on to my next Zoom is just an open-ended one. Would you guys, when we get to that point, be interested in actually being able to like visit City Hall and see how things operate and all of those kind of things? That's just the last thing. I guess a 1 for yes, a 2 for no.
Yes, Brandon. We're teaching Brandon. Yes,
All right, good. Well, thank you, everybody. I'm actually gonna go back and watch this. Lisa, is this on your Facebook?
Yes, it's on my Facebook, y'all. I tagged you in it too. Thank you so much, Brandon. I know you're really busy right now with
This
this
would be the
pandemic, so we appreciate you coming on.
this would be the
Thank
highlight of the day for sure. I'm gonna go back to the world of boring Zooms now. So.
They didn't even look, they was gonna play a game with you, their little favorite game, but I said y'all might don't have enough time. But thank you.
Hold on 1 second.
All right.
Let me see what I gotta do next. I'll tell you.
All right. Y'all can play y'all game now. Look, they pumped up about that.
All right, yeah, I got a little bit of time. We got like how long? It could take like 2-3 minutes. Is that all right?
Yeah, so
All
we
right,
need. All right. So it's the game called Would You Rather.
Okay.
All right. So would you rather have 3 feet or 3 hands?
I would rather have 3 feet. I'm already fast. I can imagine how fast I'll be with 3 feet.
Oh wow. All right. Would you rather lose your sense of taste or sense of smell?
Smell? As long as I can taste, I don't need to smell nothing.
What you think, Chastity?
Oh God.
I wouldn't want to lose none of them right about now with this pandemic.
Yeah, no, I need to smell what I'm eating.
Would you rather wrestle a bear or an alligator?
Bear.
Ooh.
I can possibly get away if the alligator get me in the water, I'm done.
All right. Would you rather have a permanent splinter under your big toenail or have a permanent bad haircut?
Splinter.
Would you rather?
We see you don't play about your hair.
I don't. Look.
It looks nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm trying to find some good ones. Yeah.
Normally y'all go around, but I know y'all probably don't have time to ask everybody the same question. I think that's it. Let's let Mr. Scott go. That was nice. Thank you so much, Brandon. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. That was pretty cool. That was nice. What you guys think about your meeting with Brandon?
It was nice. We got everything through. So yeah, I think that was nice.
The note.
Uh-oh, somebody chopping.
It was nice.
Yeah. Drop a 1 in the chat if it was nice. If you liked the meeting, drop a 2 in the chat if you did. That's right. All 1s, Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, y'all gotta do that again.